movement, it's important that you keep your body in a straight line through your shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. That way it ensures that you're getting a good amount of torque and movement through those hips and midsection, so it'll not only act as a stretch but a strengthening mechanism for your midsection as well. It's also important to note to keep your hips and chest flush with the wall ahead of you, therefore again putting most of the emphasis through your hips and midsection, because that way you're able to help with the acceleration and deceleration of those legs as you're swinging them out or in. In this movement, it's important that you go down heavy on that back knee, as that's really the only way that you're able to create enough force to be able to stretch that hip flexor. It's also important that you keep your torso upright, because again, that helps create a better angle for you to push those hips through and stretch that hip flexor. Little point of emphasis from there would be just take a big enough step in the beginning to where you can go from the hip flexor stretch right into the hamstring extension. Now in this movement, it's important that you stay off the back knee now to be able to get enough movement in that upper body to twist towards your front leg only. After you do that, make sure you step up, stand nice and tall, get those hips to extension as you pull that knee to your chest. Don't stay hunched over and don't let your torso break to the ground. Again, everything you want to do nice and tall. For the side lunge, it's important to note that you're trying to keep your torso as upright as possible. You're only leaning towards the front leg moving down the field or track or court, and dropping your hips down and back to that side. You also want to make sure to keep both feet flat and that back leg straight. For the inside foot grab, make sure you're standing nice and tall. Pull up on your foot with your one hand and push down on the knee with your other. With the hip rotations, you want to make sure that you're not turning your hips or upper body with that leg as it's rotating around. You want to keep your chest and hips square down the track or field or court, whatever you're on, and make sure that you're just letting that knee and that hip joint do all the work. For the foot sweep, it's not necessary to take a huge step to try to stretch that hamstring. You don't need to go too much further than heel to toe. Drop those hips down and back while keeping the front leg straight to put a lot of that pressure through that hamstring to stretch it, and then just step through to the opposite quad, a couple steps, and then switch sides. With the Frankensteins, you want to make sure with whatever leg you're kicking, you keep it as straight as possible, with the emphasis being on your hip position. Keep your hips extended forward with your torso as tall as possible. Don't sacrifice height for sitting your hips underneath you. With the single leg RDL, you want to make sure that you're going down in one smooth movement, no bouncing or jerking at any point. Also, make sure that whatever leg is down, you keep a slight bend in that knee, loading the hamstring, and again reach for the midline of your foot while extending that back leg out. For the inchworm, you're going to assume the push-up position. Before starting, you're going to push that butt down to the floor, cobra position, get a little anterior stretch through your stomach and front of your body, push the hips back and up, get a full body stretch in that sense, and then tiptoe your toes as close to your hands as you possibly can, then reset. For the Spiderman, you'll assume the push-up position again, except this time you'll take a big step to either side, making sure that front leg, the foot is flat on the ground. You're using that elbow to that side to push that knee out, with an emphasis on the back leg, keeping it as straight as you can as you drop your hips down and to that side. And that does it for today. Thank you very much for joining BFast LLC with this install for the week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or on our website, as all our posts and videos are geared towards helping athletes of any sport. And as always, train hard, because skills need practice, speed needs developing, and strength needs training.